Okay, here is another video. This is just to respond to questions or a discussion that took place at in the Lion community in the WhatsApp group. So I told the member that I'm going to respond to that with a video. So let's get to it. He says, good morning. Has anyone noticed that there is a difference between the front shock absorber of Peugeot 406 with EW12J4 engine and that of Peugeot 406 with EW10J4 engine? I've been trying to point this out to dealers here, but they don't want to know. They just want to sell off what they have. They just want to sell off what they have in store. I need a change of shocks for my E12 and will want the exact part. The last time I went along and fixed the shocks of the EW10J4, my front bumper had less ground clearance. I was touching the ground at the slightest change in ground clearance. Okay, so I'm going to go direct to the person. I know him already. I've known him for years. He drives a Peugeot 406 with EW12J4 engine. Of course, it's a manual stick shift car. Right. Hold on. Now, like I said there before, I told you I'm going to do a video on this. The dealers that told you there's no difference, yes, they are right. And you that is telling them that no, there is the EW12J4 shock absorber is different from that of EW10J4. No, you are wrong as well. It's just that both of you, you are right in some part and wrong. So that's why I say it depends. So you are not completely wrong, but you are wrong to assume that all EW12 shock absorbers are different from that of EW10. So let me start. Let's just put it this way. All Peugeot 406 D9. All Peugeot 406 D9, that's the ones produced from 1999 to 2004 in Europe. All of them have the same shock absorber, irrespective of the engine. At least I know that of the EW7J4, EW10J4, EW12J4, and ES9J4 and ES9J4S. That's the V6. So the only ones I didn't even bother to know about is the SU engines, the D9 with the SU engine, but it has to be the same since the SU7 and the SU7 and SU10 J4R is about the same size or weight with that of the EW7J4 and EW10J4. So it has to be the same. Now the thing is, like I always tell people, I don't really focus more on those two older engines, the SU engines. So I really don't want to know much. The ones I know, I'm done with them. To add more knowledge on those engines, no, because I don't work on them anymore, and I don't intend to own any of them. So the only difference in shock absorber, in 406, the only one that is different that I've seen, not just read or that I've seen, is that of Pan production. Peugeot 406 produced by Pan Nigeria. That's the Peugeot 406 assembled or produced here in Nigeria with EW10J4. That is the only one that I know that is different from every other shock absorber used in Peugeot 406 in Europe. That's the only difference. Now, that's why I said, those dealers are right. While you also you are wrong, but also right in a way to know that okay, one is different. That's why I'm going. I believe you assume that all of them they are not the same. As far as foreign production is concerned, all shock absorbers are the same in Peugeot 406 D9 that I know of. The difference is now on the spring. For example, Peugeot 406, let me start from the V6. Peugeot 406 V6 manual, whether it's the station wagon or saloon, as long as it's V6 and it has ES9J4 or ES9J4S engine, they all use same spring on the shock absorber. As long as it's manual transmission, get me right, all manual transmission Peugeot 406, irrespective of the style of the body, saloon or station wagon, as long as it has V6 badge on it or V6 engine inside it and it's D9 and it's manual, they use the same shock absorber. But the automatic use something else. The automatic shock absorber is different. These the ones I have seen and purchased in the past, because before I do all these purchases, I always do research, to know this is it or this is not it. So they are different. The automatic ones I've purchased so far, my research showed they are not. The springs are different from the manual ones. It also makes sense. You know that automatic, which is the 4HP20 on that V6, has more weight than the manual. So the normal spring on the manual one will not be able to carry the vehicle very well. It's probably going to drop it very, very low. So they had to put probably a stronger what's it called, spring, so be able to hold it from not hitting the ground or going too low. So that's by the way. Now the spring that the V6 manual 406 use is the identical spring in 406 produced by Pan with EW10J4 engine, and of course all the ones 406 Pan produced had manual transmission. So all the 406 with EW10J4 engine produced by Pan had the same spring, identical, not just similar, identical spring in Peugeot 406 with V6 engine and all manual transmission. They are the same. However, the rest of the EW10J4, like the ones produced outside Nigeria, they all have their different spring. They don't have the same spring with that of the V6 406 manual or the EW10J4 406 produced by Pan. No, they are not the same. So of course, we also means the manual foreign 406 with EW10J4 manual spring is different from that of same 406 EW10J4 automatic foreign. They are also different. So in other words, just know that all 406, I'm focusing on 406 now, all 406 with automatic transmission have different spring with the counterpart that is manual transmission. As long as it's the same engine, their springs are not the same. All automatic transmission weigh very, very high compared to the manual. That's why they tend to consume more fuel than the men, because the weight, they have too much, so a lot of weight. And all those things will tell on the suspension. So they have to put probably a tougher spring. I don't know why, but the springs are not the same. So it has to be. Now, it also makes sense that how come, when you see Peugeot 406 with for the 406 produced in Pan, you always know, you can tell that the ground clearance is always very high, higher than that of the foreign assembly. So I know you'll be wondering, how come they now put it on that same spring on the V6? Yeah, the V6 is always very low. Its reason being that the spring on that Pan one probably choose the car higher, but then because of the weight of the V6 engine, so if you put in that of EW10 foreign, which is probably smaller, if you put it there, it means the car will almost drop to the ground. So you have to use that of EW10, the one they put in Pan that takes the car up, on the V6 manual, which will still bring it down, but at least it won't be as low as if they put EW10. Now, that's EW10 spring for foreign. Now let's go to EW12. Likewise, EW12's spring, of course, Pan did not produce EW12. So all EW12 manual, and I don't think they produce any. In fact, they did not produce any 406 with EW12 automatic. For the best of my knowledge, they are all manuals. So 406 with EW12 spring, they are different. They are not the same with V6. They are not the same with EW10. But like I said, all shock absorbers of 406 produced in Europe or whatever you want to call it, they are all the same, irrespective of engine. As long as it's D9. It's only when you come to Pan, Nigeria, the ones they use in Nigeria, that's where it has different. Maybe it's one of the reasons too, the shocks has gone extremely high. So now you know all these things, and of course it not be difficult. If you are buying a used one, it'll be difficult to know which one is for your vehicle, because I mean you can't tell by mere looking at it whether this is for this, especially when it's still attached together with the shock absorbers. So yeah, it's a risk you have to consider when you are buying a used shocks, complete one with the spring. The only way to now put your, to make it still maintain the factory size for EW12 is if you still have that your OEM, the one the car came with, that spring, even if the shocks are failed, if you still have the spring, what it means is if you buy the used shock absorber that comes complete, you have to remove the spring there. Even if it's that spring, it probably will work well for the E12. You have to remove it and put your EW12, at least the one you are sure that came with the car. You put it there, then it will give you that ground clearance of EW12. Same applies to E10 or V6 or whatever. If you want it to maintain the factory distance. There's a reason why Peugeot don't sell complete. It's because of the spring differences. What I mean is brand new shock absorber. If you are buying brand new shock absorber from Pan or OEM, you can't get it with the spring. Reason being that you are buying the shock, which is almost the same with the rest. However, you need to pull back your spring so that it will give you that ground clearance or the height of the vehicle from the ground. Or you buy the spring new, and in that case, the spring will have different part numbers. For example, yours is EW12. You'll be surprised that Pan will not have it. But the one Pan will have will be the one of V6, which is also the one for EW10J4 406 produced in Nigeria. That may be the only spring they have. People don't understand all these things. That's why you may put the shocks, it will be too low, even though the shock absorber is still good. You'll be wondering what is wrong. But the problem is, yeah, the shock is the same with that's supposed to be for your car, but the spring is not. So it's going to mess up the factory ground clearance. So that's what you need to consider. If you're buying used, like I said, go and look for that your old, the one the car came with. If you are sure they've not changed it before you bought the car for the first time, that's the one you use. Otherwise, it's a gamble. If you put it and it looks okay to you, if it doesn't, you keep changing until you get one that works. So that's what I have to say. Alright, I hope the video makes sense, and if it doesn't, or you need more clarification, just post your question in the comment section of this video. I will try and explain the best I can. If the question is something I will need to do another video on, I will let you know there in the comment section. If not, whatever, just at least this video, I believe will be able to clarify a lot of things to Peugeot users in Nigeria. Alright guys.